Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and happy 2022. I can't believe it's already a new year, and a new year means new films to make and more films to dissect. So today I really want to go into the ONER, the long take, as you say, the take that takes so long that your DP's arm starts hurting. And I'm going to do that by kind of going through my process for one of my short films that was a long take and kind of explaining how all of that went down, as well as giving you guys some tips on to how to create your own ONER. So without further ado, let's do this. In recent years, there's been a lot of movies that kind of implement this idea of the long take or continuous shot, which is basically the beginning of the scene starts and we don't visibly see a cut as an audience member until the end of the long take or the scene. Most notably, Birdman did this throughout the entire film. 1917 was another film that tried to implement this, and it's a really powerful storytelling device. But before you really go in and you decide, hey, I want to do a ONER, you have to decide why. Why do I think that this story, this film is right to do a ONER? That's really important. And I think that just goes to the fact that whenever you're sitting down and you have a script or an idea for a story and you're starting to come up with an idea for the visuals, you really need to ask yourself why. Just keep asking yourself that question, because the theme and the story itself should complement the visuals. For example, so I did a film last year for my advanced directing film called Press X to Start. And it was about a character who was trapped inside a video game and he needed to get out. I decided I wanted to do it in a ONER because the main theme of the film is feeling trapped in this cycle that you can't control, of something always pushing forward and you can never push back against it. So the camera continuously moves through the space. So once you have your why, once there is a reason for you doing a long take or a ONER, whether that be it's a stressful situation and you want to hold out that moment and you want the audience to be there with the character and with the camera, so you just linger on this very long take, or whether you want to show movement. You know, if you want to show a thing fastly moving through space and you really want the audience to be there with you, you're going to hold there and you're going to block it intricately. Another thing is if you want an argument scene. Another ONER that I did was about a girl kind of trapped in this endless cycle of, you know, in the middle of her parents' relationship. And I decided to do that because, you know, for me, the whole movement and the whole theme of the film was very circular, right? It's this idea of this unescapable pattern and circle that people fall into in their relationships with others. And so I knew I wanted the whole film for this camera to be kind of spinning, and I wanted to do it in a continuous motion. So once you have figured out your why and why you've decided to choose this idea, next thing you want to do is kind of, before you get actors in, before maybe even you finish the script, you think about a visual or a scene that you know you want in the film and just kind of block it out. This is something that I did for Press X. This was just in my apartment months before we shot, months before I even had the final script done, but it was something that we wanted to workshop. And so Sean, my DP, just took his phone and we did a very rough test with just me in my apartment.
It's stuck like this.
Okay, I want
Somehow.
to go to the kitchen. I can't go into the kitchen. Something along those lines. Once you get that test down and once you're happy with that, then write it in the script. So after you have a script that you're happy with and you have a general layout or feel in your mind of what you want the different beats to be, then you should rehearse with your actors before the shoot. This is so incredibly important. It's something that I did for both of my ONERs.
It's like a big deal, guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, then at that point,
He needs to get. Then I can go around, then, and then like you're trying to grab him, pretty much.
yeah. Because it's not a cut, right? This is more of like kind of a theatrical performance in a sense, right? The camera is a character in the scene because it's moving, and the way that it moves and where it ends up in its positioning tells the story. Your actors are a character in the story, obviously, right? But where they move and where they end up is important, and you can't cut around their movements because it's a long take. So you need to make sure that they're hitting their marks. So it's so important to rehearse with the actors. And something that you can do, again, you don't need to bring a full rig to your rehearsals, or the camera that you're going to use, but bring your phone or bring, something that you can just pick up as the camera and kind of walk around with your actors in the space so that you know where the camera's going to be and you know where the actors are going to be. This is so important, and it helps alleviate so much stress when you come to film. Because when you come to film a ONER, it's so much easier, because if your characters and your actors are already blocked and your camera's already blocked, all you have to do is do over and over again until you get the performance you want, the camera movement that you want, and all of that. But you're not going to be figuring that out on the day of. Obviously, I know that sometimes it can be really hard to lock down actors beforehand, so do it in like your basement with your friends, just have a general layout. For my P4 film, for home, something that we did is we story video boarded it, right? It was just me and my DP, and we just kind of went in his basement and we're like, okay, this, is gonna act as something, but you can still get a visual layout. And if you yourself as the director and the DP have a clear understanding of what you want from the scene, specifically in a ONER, then you're gonna get the results that you want. All right, so now that you've had the general concept, you've rehearsed with your actors, it's time to shoot. And this is the most fun part, right? Because you just get to move through the space and do the ONER that you've had in your head this whole time. And what I really wanted to show you guys here is a fun little comparison between just the initial rough idea, the rehearsal with the actors, and then how it actually turned out in the film. I think this is really cool to kind of conceptualize and see how, an idea from the start can change by the very end, or how the idea from the start can be exactly what you thought it would be in your head the entire time. I think it's just a fun thing to do in general, to kind of have little tests, or even with your scripts, if you have a first version of your script to look at your last. So just kind of wanted to compare all of those and show those to you.
And then probably, around this point.
And around here, I'm
Yeah.
Wow. And then I'm on the ground.
And then that's when the decision moment happens.
That's when
And the scream, oh, you did the same thing.
that's when the pan away happens and she's on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can still get that in the same shot, pretty much, so I can still see them.
Wait. Okay. So you're gonna be focused on him, so we won't see her falling, right?
So is the
No.
vaccine no
Got
longer
you.
in this scene? We're assuming it's in
the
another
vaccine,
room.
we're gonna say, is
It's there.
Do this, you gotta do this right. It's light attack and then it's heavy attack.
Just finish the mission, I'll be fine.
Then you're kind of fuck, and you knock the camera out of it, so it's
knock the camera out. Yeah.
down it goes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh, jeepers. Hey, Zena! Catch.
So it's
knock the camera out. Yeah.
down it goes,
Yeah.
like this.
And then I kind of.
And then we see your feet walk up to it, and then you pick it up.
Right.
So-
we walk up to it.
So you come down and pick it up. Well, no, you make sure the lens is facing you.
Yeah. And then I pick it up.
And then you sort of look at the so you're still holding on to it. And you
Yeah.
still look at the camera.
Catch. You thought I was crazy. We were just in a video game, which is way less crazy. All right, on my left. Come on, okay. Back this way.
And let it.
And then you're like, whoa,
Oh.
that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that little fun comparison and this video. I just wanted to make a fun little video about a camera technique or a storytelling technique that I really like in filmmaking. Coming from a theater background, I love the drama and the stakes that a ONER has because, you know, it's orchestrating so many mini movements and creating little scenes, you know, within one take. You don't have the luxury to cut around, to cut to something else if somebody makes a mistake. You are very truly living in the moment in that section. And I think it's just a fun and exhilarating way to tell a story. But again, the most important thing is whenever you're coming up with visuals is to answer that why. You know, it is cool to do a ONER like just for fun and to get practice, but the best kinds of ONERs and the best kinds of films I find is if the story you're telling, if the way the camera is moving kind of says something about that, right? But I could go on and on and on and ramble, but I think that's going to be enough for this video. So if you enjoyed this video and you're looking for more tips on filmmaking and writing, go ahead and subscribe and leave a comment down below. What type of video do you want to do next? I have so many video ideas that I think would be fun to tackle, whether that be about writing scripts or filmmaking. I'm still learning myself, so if you guys have any input too on any of this, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. But that's all for me. Thank you, and may the adventure start with you. Bye.